Hey, everybody. Hey, my punctual people. I love it. Hope everybody's doing well. We're just going to give folks another minute. Folks are coming in faster than we can let them in. But we're going to give folks 1 minute. I will go ahead and say hello real quick. I am Josh Clemens. I am the Social Media Breakfast Madison board president. That up there, for me, she's in the top left corner. I don't know where she is for you, but that's Sarah. She's a fellow board member, and she's running the back end of this shindig. And then I'll introduce you to Caitlin in a second. But real quick, I just wanted to say hello, welcome. Super happy to have y'all here. I'd ask for a show of hands, but so many cameras are off, I won't play any interactive games. I'm always curious how many folks have been to lots of social media breakfast stuff versus this is their first thing. So if anybody wants to put in the chat if this is your first thing or if you're a longtime attendee, I'd also love to know how you found out about this, if you just saw it in a social post or something. But again, this is super low pressure, just curious. So drop it in the chat if you've got it in you. Folks are still coming in, so I don't want to start introducing Caitlin just yet. Sarah, are we is the weight room empty? Are we good?
We're slowing down. I think we can get started.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. So yeah, for those of y'all who know us, for those of you who don't, Social Media Breakfast is a nonprofit based in Madison, and our goal is to ensure that the community, the greater Madison, Dane County area community, is at the cutting edge of what's going on in the digital marketing space. Our kind of bread and butter event is a third Wednesday event. Like every month, we do a third Wednesday session with a phenomenal speaker, a panel, some way to deep dive into what's going on in the world of digital marketing. We've had all kinds of speakers on all kinds of topics. This month, we're going to be doing a really cool one with a guy named Nick Myers. If you don't know him, he's awesome. We've seen him before. He's going to be speaking about data privacy and what that means for you as a social mediaist. Yeah, it occurred to us recently that there's lots more opportunities for things we could do, and thus these study halls were born. And the idea here was really to do some kind of hands-on learning together. So we're bringing in a series of experts to help run these sessions. But these are not our traditional, trainings where Caitlin's not going to speak to you for an hour. She's going to sort of walk through 10 to 15, whatever. I don't know how long. I don't want to put a time frame on her, but she's going to walk through some basics, and then we're going to actually open it up to the group to try and troubleshoot together, problem solve, and ask questions. So I'm going to turn it over to her in 1 second. I do just want to say today's is going to be about setting up the infrastructure to run ads properly. The second session is coming up on 2/23, and we're going to have Shane Cicero, who's a phenomenal Facebook ads manager, talk about building audiences. And then on March 6th, it will probably be me, but maybe we'll find somebody more exciting to talk about building creative. So yeah, mark your calendars. February 23rd and March 6th are sessions 2 and 3. With that, I want to turn it over to Caitlin. Caitlin is a partner of a longtime friend of the org, Sarah Best. She runs ads for all kinds of organizations, both with Sarah Best Strategies and beyond. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to you, Caitlin.
Hi, nice to meet you all. It's great to be here. I appreciate Josh bringing us in. So I've been with Sarah Best since about early November, and in the world of digital marketing and ads for about the last 7 years or so, at various both agency and corporate as well. So wealth of experience there, and looking forward to kind of showing you guys and walking through Business Manager. So I want to start off, is there any specific questions really quick before I go through a quick 10-minute spiel? Okay, that sounds good. So I'm going to share my screen so you all can see what's going on. And let me know if you can see it.
We can see your screen.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so Facebook Business Manager. It's one of probably Facebook better inventions. Facebook has had some up and downs over the last few years, but Business Manager is incredible. It makes everything so much simpler in terms of granting access to various different things as well as, access to partners, and managing pixels and all sorts of fun stuff. So we're going to walk through some of this. So this is what the business manager infrastructure looks like. Now, not everyone may have a business manager. I obviously do, been a part of a wide variety of them. If you don't have one, if this interface doesn't look like something you've dealt with in the past, your first best step is to Google Facebook Business Manager, and it's going to get you to, and it probably won't send me back. It'll take me straight into my accounts. But typically it'll take you to a landing page and they'll prompt you to create a business manager. And essentially what the business manager is it's a place where you can hold your ad accounts, your pages, your reporting, your events, your pixels, all in one place and grant access. So if you have a large organization, most recently I worked for like a Fortune 500 company, a lot of people need access to various different sides of the platform. They might need ad account access, but they might also need access to the page or the pixel, or if you're doing e-commerce, there's like dynamic product feeds that you have to edit. So business manager is really the best way to be able to cleanly execute that, as well as controlling access. And you don't have to go and change your Facebook password if someone leaves. It's kind of the hit by the bus theory that if someone leaves or something happens, everyone still has access to it. You don't have to go through the fun fire drill. So we'll start off in business settings. So after you've kind of created your business manager account, so this is ours for SMBMad strategy, you can go straight into the user area. And the user, oh, of course, it's going to do this.
Of course.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Let me grab my phone really quick.
3% of my life is relogging into Facebook.
I swear it knocks me out every time. I was just in here like 3 minutes ago. So
every time.
Okay. So business settings. So this is where you're going to be able to control all the users, partners, and systems. So people is just straight up, people in your organization. So this is me, and I have full control of everything. Very simple to add people. You can either, find their personal Facebook email, but if you're working at an organization, you can use their business email and it will prompt them to connect whatever appropriate personal Facebook profile should be associated with that. So we'll just
while you do that,
Go
I'll
ahead.
just clarify.
Yeah.
I have found for a lot of people that's super helpful because you don't have to be like your personal Facebook. If you're like at work, you can use your work email to do all of this in a way that you cannot do with like if you're just getting added as an admin to a Facebook page, it has to be from your personal account. With Business Manager, you can have your @company email address, and you can actually start. It's still complicated, but there is some division there in a way that doesn't exist if you're just like adding an admin to your Facebook page. So
yep, precisely. So this is my personal email. So if you're adding a user, that's what you're going to go through, and then you can see that you can give them access to all of Business Manager. And what this does is you can have multiple managers. So I can control everything in Business Manager as well as Sarah. So if Sarah's unable to like add a partner or a vendor at some point because she's gone or on vacation, I can hop in and do that, or anyone else at Sarah Best can. You can also have them set up apps and integrations. So Facebook Manager has a lot of really powerful integrations that you can establish and allow people to set up as well. So we're going to pretend like I did that. So once they become a user, they're going to get an email saying, Sarah Best Strategy invited you to their business manager. Go through the accept, all those fun things that normally happen. Then what you can do is you're assigning assets. So if you're an organization that maybe has multiple pages or multiple ad accounts, this is where you would go to change those. So you can change the assets. So you can go in. Most people have classic pages still. Not a ton of people have new pages, but classic pages, and you can see all the pages that we currently manage at Sarah Best Strategy. And if I know say I'm Sarah and I just added myself. I know Caitlin's going to be working on preservation pause and population council and say the Great Basin. You can go through and select all three of those and then hit manage page or any of these other settings. If they're just doing content, they can just get content, messages, ads, etc. Similar theory for ad accounts. So you may need access to manage if you need to manage billing or update that information, or maybe it's just a vendor or a freelancer that only needs to manage campaigns and view performance. So there's a wide variety of different settings that you can go through here and really be able to control who can see what in your organization so that you can maintain that level of separation if you need to. Pixels is another fun thing. So some people, even singular organizations, do have multiple pixels if there are different regions.
Could we
or
define
different
pixel for folks?
Yes. So a pixel is basically a tiny piece of code that's going to sit on your website and collect information about the users that visit it. The exception to this rule is that if they have ad blockers or de-anonymize their IPs, that information will be less reliable and it will technically have to be turned off as security laws become more and more fun, especially if you deal with any accounts in the EMEA region. GDPR, I'm sure everyone's heard since like 2018, has caused some really fun instances for marketing, but it's not as much of a problem here.
Yeah, if you look at a pair of shoes on a website and then the next day you see that pair of shoes on your website, on your Facebook feed, that's not magic, that's the pixel. Like that's literally how they're doing it. They're saying, oh, you looked at this landing page, you didn't buy, we're going to show you a photo of those shoes and try to get you back. So like that's literally what the pixel is, and the pixel lives in your business manager.
Yeah, and you guys will get into that more, I believe. Is it the second or third session, Josh, you mentioned about audience creation?
The second one. So yeah, I'm sure the
one.
pixel, like how to build custom audiences from that'll come up, but like this is where it lives and this is why it matters.
Yep, exactly. So say we went through everything, I gave myself access. This is the people section. You can do the same thing with partners. So say you hire Sarah Best Strategy and you just want to grant the entire partner, which would be us, to your account. So that way we just have to deal on our side with the users. What you can do is you just either ask them for their business ID, which you can typically find in your settings, or they can request, and it's a similar process. You know, you give them access to assets. If there's a specific page or a specific ad account, this is the best place to do it. Instagram, let's get into that here. So I'm sure most of you know that Facebook and Instagram are one and the same. Basically now they're both owned by Meta, and they're both operated within Business Manager now. So previously, you know, you maybe had to log into your Instagram account and provide people or partner your logins. You no longer have to do that. You can manage that straight within here. It's just like basically any other page that you would, you know, connect your asset and then assign people to it as needed. Any questions right now? I don't want to keep chatting on if there's something specific that someone saw.
Hey, Caitlin, we did have a question come into the chat about, could you help us understand the difference between the business manager and the business suite?
Yes, great question. I think that Facebook has had a little bit of lack of clarity on what the difference between that is, if I'm being honest, because I don't know if I could even tell you a definite definition of the difference between the two. Josh, I don't know if you have a clearer picture of what that looks like.
The business suite is like, they keep rolling out new platforms that you need to use to manage your Facebook page. So there was like Creator Studio, there used to be other things, there used to just be Insights, and now there's this business suite. They keep adding out these new things and they're helpful. There's interesting tools in there. The business manager is like, think about more of the warehouse where all the assets live. Like it's sort of the infrastructure upon which everything else is built. What's complicated is that you don't need it to start, right? So like, even though you've got a Facebook page, you might not have a business manager, you should. Business Suite is just a tool to help you manage your page. Business Manager is where you manage your entire meta infrastructure. Business Manager matters. Business Suite, like there's stuff in there that matters, but like, who knows how long it'll even last? Like they're literally killing off Creator Studio now after making it the default a year ago. You know, it's like, it's hard to invest in this stuff. Business Manager has been around since there's been ads. Like you cannot really run a vibrant ad program without a business manager. Like this one matters.
Great question. So just kind of gonna go over a couple of these minor things, and I'll monitor the chat now that I actually have it pulled up. So if there are any questions, feel free to pop them into the chat. So your data sources, this is where all your pixel information is going to live. So that's not a great example. As well as we have integrations here. So connected apps. So we don't have any connected apps at this time, but this is where you could see what different apps are connected. For example, I believe one of the biggest integrations and probably most relevant to this group is Facebook lead forms to HubSpot forms. So any Facebook lead form that you would set up would be dumped straight into your HubSpot. I think there's a similar, there's probably similar ones for other similar HubSpot tools, but that's probably the best example. Okay, so in terms of, you know, your actual accounts, one thing that people may not know is that there are actual ad accounts. So your Facebook page is great, but the ad account is really where you're going to be running ads from and have a lot more options. So I know a lot of people use Facebook boosted posts. Sarah Best is a great example. We do a lot of boosted posts as well, because it's really easy to do. You can do it straight from your page. But where that actually goes through is what's called your ad account. And what makes this really nice and simple is that you can control the settings and you have so many more options. So it's called Ads Manager. So this is kind of like a subsect of Business Manager. And this is where all your stuff is going to kind of run through your audiences, your creative, your everything that's related to an ad account. Yeah, I think that's kind of like my main spiel. I don't want to get too into the weeds about Ads Manager or page settings or anything like that, since this is focused around business.
Well, if you want to take 1 minute and just kind of explain like what Ads Manager is, because I think, so yeah, you can like hit boost posts right from your page, but you can also build boosted posts and lots of other types of ads in the Ads Manager. If you want to click on the right below that circle, like where that the rectangle is with the little dashes, I finally found the magic trick to get away from that thing. So like this is the Ads Manager. I build ads all the time, like every day. And this is where I do 100% of my ad building is in the Ads Manager. Like I work in a client's Ads Manager account and I build things out. And again, we'll talk about building audiences and building creative in the next sessions. But like, this is where I go personally to build all of my ads. And Caitlin, it sounds like you do some of it from Facebook, but then you're monitoring on this side. Like even if you're hitting boost posts, you still have more access and control to like see how it's performing, see who your audience is in the Ads Manager. So I dropped the link to get directly to your Ads Manager in the chat. But
perfect.
You've got your Business Manager, and then within that, you've got your page and you've got your Ads Manager accounts. And those are really the, like, other than Pixel, those are pretty much the two things that matter. Like Pixel is a one-off thing. Those two things I deal with every day, like the page and the Ads Manager, and those live in your Business Manager. But once it's set up, honestly, I rarely go to the Business Manager. I live in the Ads Manager personally, and I run a lot of ads.
Yep, that is a great intro. Like, for example, you can see these are boosted posts that we've done before. So it'll automatically generate this sort of thing. But it's ran within here and you get a lot more insights, as Josh mentioned. You know,
if you click that drop down menu, there's like a tremendous amount of insights you have access to right there. You can literally see how long people watched a video for, how they engaged with you, what kind of conversions you're getting if you're running conversion ads. I mean, there's just like an overwhelming amount of data sitting in the ads manager that you don't have access to from the Facebook page. So even
Yep.
if you're running ads on the Facebook page, you should be going to your ads manager to like understand how they're performing.
Yeah, and there are some great default reports too that Facebook has built out that you can select in the report section, and you can see, if you ran a couple different creatives, you can hit add and see how those different creatives perform. Or there's a wide variety. The best advice that I can give anyone is just go in and play around and do your own exploring. That's the best and easiest way to learn. I can tell you a bunch of different things on here, but until you actually go and like experience it and like understand how to navigate to it, it will be a little bit more muddy. So yeah, best advice is to just be able to get out there and play with something a little bit.
But I love, like, while she's saying play with it, she's also showing us these really cool things. Like you can actually break down like men versus women who engage with your ad, age, location. If you're running ads nationally, you can actually see which city or state or metro area those folks live in, and all that. Like, again, Caitlin's like showing it to us, so like just worth like making sure we understand. Like you can literally break down all this stuff in the ads manager if you poke around.
Yep.
Like all of that stuff. There's so much data at your disposal if that's relevant to you.
Yep, exactly. And there's probably this might be overwhelming amounts of data. So you've got to pick what's important to you, just like you do with any other marketing campaign you run. You've got to pick your KPIs and objectives and pick what's going to be most important to you. Some of these additional
key performance indicators, y'all.
Yeah,
KPIs.
sorry.
What do you care about, and are you reaching what you care about? Yeah, for sure.
Sorry, I am your typical kind of marketing millennial that uses all sorts of acronyms. So
love it.
Please stop me if there's anything I say that doesn't make sense. But yeah, there's plenty of data here. It's just deciding what you care about, and some of these metrics can help you create support. If it is conversions, you can use conversion device to say, okay, mobile did really bad, but desktop was great. Let's figure out how we can reach a broader desktop audience and maybe less mobile users, or vice versa. So there are some really great reports that you can pull out of here that will help support optimizations and changes you can make to your campaigns. So with that, it's been about like 20 minutes. So I just want to open it up for questions. I didn't come here to talk at you guys for, a half an hour.
I know there's some questions in the chat, Caitlin, if you want to go through and look at those. And then
yeah.
I think let's keep adding questions to the chat for a minute, but also we can open it up and folks can just, you know what, why don't you answer the questions in the chat, and then we can just call, like, people can just raise their hand and hop in. Like, let's have a convo.
Perfect. So favorite combo of objectives for ads. So great question. Typically Facebook only lets you select a singular objective per campaign. But probably some of the best ones, if you're kind of doing like a full funnel sort of marketing plan within Facebook, is definitely awareness. You want to build that top of funnel and that broader reach. So what awareness is going to focus on is really that reach and impressions are going to be the two key metrics there. Then probably supporting a more middle of funnel would be traffic or engagement, depending on what you're looking for. Traffic, obviously, if you have great content on your website and you're looking to drive people there to generate some sort of action, whether it be reading a blog post or something like that, engagement's going to be more focused on engagement on your site, on your Facebook page, or your posts, or your Instagram page, or your messenger. So engagement's a little bit more, you're kind of trying to generate a community. Now, if you're going for like leads or sales, the leads or sales are both really important objectives. Sales is obviously going to be a little bit more towards the e-commerce. If you've got a good site that has that e-commerce aspect, sales is going to be your best objective. I've worked in a lot of B2B, so we've mostly focused on mostly leads, and you can do both, sending them to your website to like a great landing page that has a lead form, or you can do in-platform Facebook lead forms as well to support that funnel.
Yeah, lead ads, for those who don't know, we'll talk about this during the third session, but they're pretty cool. Folks can actually give you their contact info with just 2 clicks without ever leaving Facebook. So they click the ad once, Facebook populates your contact info that they have for you. You give it permission to submit, and bang, you're done. So I work with a client down in Florida who's like in the health space, and he has been running his business off this simple lead ad campaign I ran for, like, set up for him years ago. It is still getting him leads today. Like, we don't even update the creative. I mean, usually like that doesn't work. For him,
Yep.
it's been like working like gangbusters, and he has just been like getting new clients every week from these like simple lead ads we built. So there's some pretty cool things you could do with Facebook ads if you understand it beyond the, on the back end and the bigger picture.
And those instant forms generally can be connected depending on your customer relationship management system, can be connected so that there's a pretty seamless interaction, and it can go into any other marketing automation or audience segmentation you have. If someone fills out a lead form and then you want to send them an automated email, you can make those connections to be able to support that interaction. And that's where, that's something that can get a little bit more complicated. So I would recommend you reach out to an expert to be able to make sure that that setup is correct.
So with that, and I think there was one other question in here about account manager. Facebook
Yes.
loves to roll out new tools that they're definitely going to kill in a year. I would put account manager into that bucket. I personally have used it only once, and that was to try fruitlessly, although I did get it to work, to connect an Facebook page with an Instagram page. Like, they seem to like have this they keep making it harder and harder to connect Facebook and Instagram pages, which y'all might know if you're trying to use third-party tools. Or even just Creator Studio. That's the only applicability I've found for account manager. Caitlin, have you used account manager for anything else?
I haven't. No, that's why I was worried about that question. I'm like, I don't even actually honestly know what that
I ran
is.
into it last week, and I was like, this is stupid. But here we are, like yet another Facebook tool that we don't really need to understand, but like that exists. So again, like the biggest thing for today, I would stress the difference between like the fluffy stuff that comes and goes on the front end. This ain't that. This is the core back end of Facebook. This has been around since I've been running Facebook ads, which is a long time. If this goes away, Facebook goes away, in my opinion. Like, this doesn't leave. So understanding where your business manager is and where your ads manager is and how to use them effectively will make you a better Facebook ad marketer, like, no question. Who here feels like does somebody want to pull up their computer screen and we can walk them through setting this stuff up? Or like, this is y'all's time. We got like at least a half an hour to troubleshoot for y'all. So tell us what would be most useful to you.
I'm also going to hop on and let everyone know we're going to stop recording at this point, and we will share the recording out. But in case you do want to hop on and share your screen and ask some questions, we're going to stop recording, and then you can feel free to have those conversations.
We're going ephemeral, y'all. You can speak without worry of a record.